Welcome, everyone. We will start in about 1 minute, so go ahead and finish your conversations. Welcome, everyone. We will come to order and the Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silent prayer, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, can I have a motion for approval of minutes from October the 10th and October 12th?
Mayor, I'll move to approve.
Got a motion and second, ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Andy, was that hand up? Did I see that hand go up? Okay, just making sure. Do we have anyone here from Concord 101? Please stand up. We just want to acknowledge you. Are you learning a lot? Are you seeing a lot? Thank you very much. Yes, over here? Oh, one more Concord 101? Yes. Thank you very much. Let's give them all a round of applause. If you don't know Concord 101, you got another one? Yes, Rebecca. She's already, she has talked. Unless she has something else to add. Thank you. What Concord 101, if you haven't heard about it, it is a 13-week course. We have it starting usually in September, going for 13 weeks. And it goes through every operation within the city from the department head standpoint, and you do a class each week. We have an afternoon class or an evening class. And we'll be finishing up this, I think, in about a month. Is that it? Oh, excuse me, right before Thanksgiving, we'll finish up our 13th week. So it's anyone that wants to do that, when it comes back open again, I urge you to learn a lot more about the city. It's a great way to do it. Do we have any youth council here tonight? Well, hello, youth council. How are you guys doing? Right, I'm gonna start over here. Tell me what school you're in and what grade you're in. Thank you. And your name? Hello, Natalie. Yes. Yes, sir.
I go to Coxwell High School and I'm in ninth grade.
Very good. And your name? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Shreya Thakral. I'm a junior at Coxwell High School.
Very good. Next row.
My name is Amelia.
Very good.
My name is Marika.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Lucas Todd. I'm a junior at Northwest High School.
Okay, excellent. All right, thank you. I think we're on the back row now. No, right there. Very good.
I'm Mackenzie Williams. I'm a senior at Northwest High School.
Excellent.
And I'm Emily Harrison. I'm a sophomore at Concord High.
Thank you so much for all being here. Oh, another one over here? Oh, yes, sir. So West Cabarrus, I think I heard almost all the high schools covered tonight. This is great. Let's give them a round of applause for being here. All right, any scouts here? I see no scouts here tonight. Thank you. We also have Lori Clay. Could you stand, please? This will be our new council person in District 2. And thank you for coming to serve with us. Her term starts in December, so she has a lot to learn in the next month. Okay. Moving to presentations, we have a proclamation dealing with National Native American Heritage Month. I'm going to go ahead and read this for the record. Whereas every year in November, Native American Heritage Month is celebrated to honor the remarkable Native Americans who contributed to improve the character of this nation. Whereas November is also referred to as National American Indian Heritage Month and National Alaskan Native Month, this year's theme is celebrating tribal sovereignty and identity. Whereas this is the time to rejoice in the diverse and rich cultures, histories, and traditions, and to appreciate the great contributions of the Native Americans, whereas their customs and traditions are respected and celebrated as part of a rich legacy throughout the United States. Now therefore, I, William C. Dush, Mayor of the City of Concord, along with City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of November 23 as National Native American Heritage Month in the City of Concord. And I urge you all to keep that in mind and learn as much as you can about our Native American culture. Thank you very much. Item number 2 was handled on Tuesday. We're going to move to number 3, presentation of a plaque in recognition of Cabarrus County Assistant District Attorney for her role in prosecuting local offenders responsible for contributing to violence and drug crimes. If I could have the chief come forward, we'll start off there. I'll be coming down to greet you, and then we'll go from there.
Mayor, okay, let's try it like this. Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, and Ms. Deason, thank you all for allowing us this opportunity this evening to highlight a partnership that's been long-standing and continues to be long-standing. And without this partnership, we would not be able to prevent crime and hold people responsible in Cabarrus County for committing crime. So right now, I would like to ask District Attorney Ashley Shanley and Assistant District Attorney Sydney Carter to please step forward. And Ashley, if you want to have your staff come up, that is fine as well, or if not. Excellent. Okay, so Sydney's parents are here as well. You can come up as well. So what I'm going to talk about today is something that's near and dear with many of us because it is specifically about our impact on the opioid epidemic. So you all know that that has touched most, if not every single person in this room over many years. And so a little bit of this backstory is in 2019, the Concord Police Department gathered some information about a drug operation. It was actually more like an organized, like legit drug organization that was operating in Concord and in Cabarrus County. So our Concord police staff, vice members, street crimes unit, other people that typically deal with drug investigations contacted Sydney Carter. We immediately knew that we needed some type of person that was going to be energetic and that was going to help hold these people accountable that were really selling deadly drugs to people on the street. Without her and without her offices, without District Attorney Shanley's office, none of the stuff I'm getting ready to tell you would be able to be possible. So remember that partnership. Mr. Payne and all of the department directors were recently in a meeting. We were talking about the difference between collaboration and partnership. So collaboration, the way he defined it, it's really about one type of thing, one specific thing that's happening, a project or whatever. But a partnership is something that's long-lasting. It's this partnership between these organizations and these people that really make this happen. So 2019, we learned this information. It's the year we start doing the investigations. Our vice folks, our street crimes folks, they start doing surveillance. They're gathering information. They're learning who are the players involved in this drug operation. So as they're learning this information, they're keeping her and the office involved and connected with what's going on. They develop a plan, and over the next 3 years, so we're talking about summer of 2020 to this summer of this year, they're running this operation. They're identifying different players that are involved in it, and they're making various arrests. So the operation's still kind of going on. There's still some other players that we're picking up. But so far, we've arrested 58 people that have been convicted in the state of North Carolina, so in state courts, thanks to Sydney's hard work, her commitment and dedication, and District Attorney Shanley's office and all the staff. And 4 of those have been prosecuted and convicted in federal prison and are in federal prison now. So when we add all of these things together, we're talking about 124 years of active time that these 58 individuals are receiving. That's not including all the ones that have probation. One case in particular I want to highlight, there was one individual, and this tells you how bad it is if you didn't already know, but one individual selling heroin, and typically it's laced with fentanyl, or they're just selling nowadays straight fentanyl. And this one individual sold to several of his own family members, resulted in their death. So essentially he killed his own family members through the selling of these drugs. So without this partnership and without people like Sydney, it wouldn't be possible to hold these people accountable. Some of the drugs, real quick, that were seized as a result of this was over 3 kilos of cocaine and crack cocaine, 2.75 kilos of heroin and fentanyl, a quarter kilo of meth, and very importantly, 14 guns. So this partnership between the Concord Police Department, its officers and staff, and the District Attorney's Office of Cabarrus County is what made this happen. And this closed the loop on this criminal activity that was going on in Cabarrus County so that people can be held accountable and people can live safely. So with that, I would like to present this plaque of appreciation to from the Concord Police Department, expressing appreciation to Cabarrus County Assistant District Attorney Sydney Carter for her commitment in prosecuting violent offenders and those responsible for contributing to the opioid epidemic and drug trafficking 2023. Thank you very much. Mayor, if you would please step forward also. So thank you all. Appreciate your cooperation, or not your cooperation, but your partnership and continued partnership. And with that, we'll take pictures.
And we are moving on to, we had another presentation at Tuesday's meeting that was concluded. So we're moving to item 5, which is unfinished business. Consider authorizing city manager and staff to move forward with a bidding process for renovation of Marvin Caldwell Park.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sheila presented to council on Tuesday night, gave an update of the 2 additional meetings that was held in the community about the Caldwell Park project. And so Sheila's here tonight to go through that presentation if council so desires, or answer any questions you may have. But we are asking for your authorization to move forward to bid the project out based on the final design.
Any questions from council? All right. Thank you very much. Coming back to council for a recommendation.
Mayor, I motion to authorize the city staff to move forward with the bidding process for the bond-funded renovations to Marvin Caldwell Park as identified in the final design documents.
Thank you. Second? We have a motion and second. Ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. All right. Thank you very much. Moving on to item 6, this new business, informational item. And we will receive a presentation from Wasac Engineering Director Chad Von Cannon. You do have good news for us, don't you?
Yes, I don't have bad news, we'll put it that way.
Well,
We'll put it that way.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Mayor, all council members, I appreciate the time and your busy schedule to allow me to come make a quick presentation to you on Wasac capacity, the master plan, where we're at, where we're going, and answer, most importantly, any questions that you have. It's been a directive of the Wasac board over the last year or two to really try to encourage staff to get out and communicate and make sure that the general public, our leaders in our community understand what Wasac does, what we're doing, and the issues that surround capacity and the Rocky River plant. So I've got a presentation here that's fairly short. As I move through it, feel free to ask questions, or definitely at the end, there'll be plenty of time for questions. So move to the first slide. As many of you probably know a good bit of history about the Rocky River plant and about Wasac, but I wanted to take a quick minute to run through the plant. It was originally constructed in the late 70s, 1978, 79, in a partnership between Cabarrus County, the City of Concord, and Cannon Mills. When the plant was originally constructed and brought online, the Cannon Mills plant, Kannapolis, was about 60% of the flow for the plant. So the Cannon Mills plant as a whole flowed about 10 million gallons a day just from the plant. So it was an enormous part of the flow to the plant, continued that way until it ultimately closed in the early 2000s. In the early 2000s, we had a growing community at that time, and we still had a lot of textile flow within our community, and our plant was at that point was approaching capacity back then. At that time, there was quite a few plant upgrades that were made in the early 2000s, and we were actually within months of going to the street to bid for the expansion of the plant when Pilatex announced their plans to begin shuttering operations in Kannapolis. And at that time, that expansion was put on hold. That did allow us, though, in 2012, we did a paper re-rating of the plant, basically just an engineering study that shows what your plant can actually treat, to increase that to a 26.5 million gallon a day plant, which is where it sits today. 2018, we saw flows increase dramatically. Much of that was obtained at that time the second wettest year on record that we saw, and then also a dramatic increase in the amount of flow requests to come to our communities that combined to really start to squeeze capacity. 2019 is when we began the process of design and ultimately expansion of the plant. Moving to the next slide. This slide you probably know way more about than you did 3 or 4 years ago, and probably way more than you want to know about when it comes to capacity and how is capacity calculated and how is that determined. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Just to kind of go through this for everyone, capacity is determined by looking at what our previous calendar year average flow was for the previous calendar year, plus the amount of capacity that's developer controlled. That's the capacity that's been allocated to a project but has not yet been constructed and come online. That gives us the total amount of capacity that is being utilized within our system. We then take the permitted capacity of the plant, which at this point is 26.5 MGD, subtract that capacity that is used, and that gives us our remaining capacity. That shows how as flows go up and as developer control capacity, if those go up at the same time, you really eat into remaining available capacity very quickly. A lot of information on this screen, and we're not going to go through it all, but I would like to point out the difference between 2017 and 2019. So this is a 24-month period if you look at 2017 to 2019, where we had flows increase from 16 million gallons a day to 20 million gallons a day. To give you an idea, when I started at Wasac in 2007, the flows were 15 million gallons a day. So we had been along a period of about a decade or so of flows going up about 100 to 200,000 gallons a year, pretty steadily. And then we saw a 24-month period where our flows increased 4 million gallons a day. Much of that was attributed to rainfall. We also were seeing a lot of growth at that time. So it was a double barrel impact there. If you scroll down and look at the jurisdictional control capacity, the available capacity in the bottom line there, you will see that that number dropped from 8.7 million gallons a day to 4.6, almost cut in half in that 24-month time period. In 2017, per our calculations of what we had been growing on an average basis over 20 years, we had 27 years of available capacity at the Rocky River plant. Is what, as staff, the way we calculated, the way we graphed it, the way it was looked at. In 2017, 2018, we had over 20 years of available capacity. That changed very quickly in 2018, 2019 numbers, and thus us beginning the expansion process at that time. Another point I'd like to point out here is the third line down, the developer control capacity, that how that capacity has increased from 1.6 million gallons a day in 2017 to almost triple to 3.18. So that means the capacity that has been allocated to projects that have not yet been built and connected to the system has almost doubled over this 6-year period as well. That had a big impact on our shortage of capacity, of available capacity. So our expansions, phase 3, we're happy to say that we are moving along very well with. We are on schedule to complete that probably in the August time period of next summer. That will increase our capacity to 30 million gallons a day at a cost of about $100 million. Phase 4 is also underway. They're actually moving dirt and begun some construction with phase 4 work. That will increase capacity to 34 million gallons a day at a cost of about $150 million. We actually have signed 2 GMPs, guaranteed maximum prices for the design build of that, this fall, the Wasac board has. So that project is well underway. I won't hit too much on this. I think we all know and heard a little bit about flow factor reduction over the last 2 years, but we are happy, and it's been a big help to our situation to get the 120 gallons per day per bedroom that we have to allocate to a future project reduced ultimately down to 75 gallons per day per bedroom, which is where it's at now. That was in partnership with DEQ, and most recently getting it to 75 gallons a day with Senator Newton's office and other legislators really stepping up to help us and other fast-growing communities. So planning for the future, where do we go beyond this? We know our community is going to continue to grow. So in late 22, we began the master planning process for water and wastewater needs within Cabarrus County. We identified it was very important not only for us to look at wastewater needs, but to also look at water supply, water availability for as we grow into the future. We looked at that over a 20-year, about 25-year plan, but really focused on the initial 10 years since those are the easiest to actually plan as accurately as possible to. With that, we looked at population flow projections, permitting, future expansion needs. This is obtaining permits to build additional wastewater treatment capacity, projecting drinking water needs within Cabarrus County, and to begin that permitting process, obtaining permits that we will need into the future. A big part of that was modeling 95 miles of the Rocky River, all the way from Mooresville to south of Norwood. That was a very complex process to do an up-to-date model. The model the state was utilizing was done in the early 80s. It was obviously not very accurate. So we felt moving forward into the future from a permitting standpoint, it was going to be very valuable to have that Charlotte Water, City of Mooresville, others partnered with us on that and shared in some of that cost because they'll benefit from that as well. Couple pictures here of some construction on site. It's hard to tell from a picture kind of the size of what some of this is going on. The tank in the very top center of your screen is a 5 million gallon tank. So it's about 200 feet in diameter. It's 32 feet tall. It's pretty hard to tell the magnitude of that. Kind of in the middle left portion of your screen is a new 3 million gallon aeration basin where treatment will take place within the plant. These are just some additional photos. I really won't get into too much on these, but most all of our plant is being touched in some way by this project, and we have been very, very blessed to have a great contractor engineer partnership working with Wasac to deliver a project that at this time appears to be on schedule and under budget. So that's quite the accomplishment and the environment that we're currently in. With that, I know that was a lot. That was quick, but I'm happy to answer any questions. I would like to extend the invite to anyone that would like to come tour the plant. It's something that really can't be appreciated, the size of the plant and this construction process, to see it in person. So we would love, 30 minutes or an hour, and we can take you through and let you see it. It doesn't have to take up much of your day, but we would be happy to extend that offer to anyone. We can do those one-on-one, or we could do that as a group, whatever would work best.
Council, you have any questions while we have them here? Jennifer?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. I have to tell you guys, and I do a lot of the reporting that I do back to the board is thanks to what Chad does. So as you guys know, when the sewer capacity issue came up, it catapulted Wasac into the spotlight, and it really made them have to take all the engineer speak and put it into things like this. And so I've been one of the ones pushing that because I don't always understand the engineer speak. And I have to tell you that while Chad is a brilliant engineer, he understands how to communicate with the public. And I just want to commend you for that in a public setting, because you've always been the one that has driven the home on that and the charge on that. Now, if you have any technical questions, he can also answer those as well. So, best of both worlds on that. And he's also the one to thank for the on time and on budget, because when I tell you he is on top of these contractors, he is on top of them. And part of that is because of what we're pushing from the municipal level, back to the Wasac board to say, this plant's got to get done on time. So I just want to say thank you for what you guys do at the staff level.
Yes, JC?
Chad, I ask Jeff this every month, so he would be disappointed if I didn't ask you. When will we be able to see the results and the data and the recommendations from that 20-year plan?
Okay, so that will be finalized the end of this year is what we're being told by our engineers. Honestly, I feel like they've got a lot of work to do to meet that, but they are reassuring us that they will meet that. A lot of the heavy data, the meat of the data we have in hand now, because the population projections, ultimately flow projections and needs are the most important information that comes from that. So that is at hand. The tough part is, this was a huge study, okay, that we did with this, is digesting that down to the level that each individual group kind of needs and understands. So we will be working with Jeff and with the other municipalities to get that communicated. As part of the deliverable of the ultimate project is presentations to each individual jurisdiction and breakdown. I would anticipate that early in the year. Early in the year, January, February.
Bill, I just have,
Yes, go ahead.
excuse me, I appreciate you being here. And I was one of, I think, 3 of us went and toured the plant. It's been a few months back. That's quite an operation. And to do what you all do is sort of unknown, I think, and people don't sometimes appreciate what you guys do. Can you explain what the mapping of the river was? What's the point for that? And I'm not clear on why that, I mean, it's just for my own information.
No, that's a great question. So what we do with the plant is essentially what's done in the river, but we do it controlled in a much more compact environment than the river can do that. So what you have to prove to the state is essentially your discharge from your wastewater treatment plant at the limits that you're proposing will not damage the resource. All right, so you have the river, and it's pretty interesting when you look into the model, at least to an engineer it is, that you're watching and the river's flowing under normal circumstances, and then a load comes in. Well, that load impacts the river, you know, maybe on the dissolved oxygen or different levels, and pulls that down a little bit. Well, you have to prove through the model that that's going to recover before another load comes in, and that your load is not going to pull the river down to a level that it could hurt wildlife, it could be impactful to citizens, that it could provide any negative damage whatsoever. So it really provides you with an accurate way to show that you're not going ultra conservative with your limits, but that you're not going to damage the resource. And it gets more challenging in a growing basin like we are, because there's so many different loads coming into it. So it's an important tool, but it gets very complicated.
Appreciate that, thank you.
It takes it's taken about a year to do it, so.
Thank you, Chad.
Yeah.
Other questions?
I want to say something that Chad knows. Until we get this report and you can tell us how much water and sewer we can get and where and at what cost, we're kind of constrained on all of our planning.
Yes.
So it's almost impossible to do the strategic planning we want to do until you tell us what the opportunities are. So it's crucial. I know you know that.
No pressure, right? Yes.
Yes.
I would like to commend the City of Concord, your staff, because it's been the last 3 or 4 years working together with staff, attorneys. Everyone's been involved in this process. And Charlotte Concord's really done a great job of leading the way. This was an opportunity that as a county, our jurisdictions could have pulled apart, but instead I think we've attacked this collectively in a healthy way. And I want to thank you for your staff and acknowledge their work and involvement with it.
We appreciate what you're doing. It's important to our future as we move forward.
Yeah.
And also, Jennifer, we really appreciate you being our representative on the board. It really is important to get the feedback we get back. We understand what's going on and how we're moving forward. Because just if you don't know this, for over 100 plus years, the council's never had to be involved with sewer allocation.
Right.
For the last 2 years, we have been, every gallon of sewer capacity has to be approved.
Yes.
And that's what we've had to do, and it's been quite a learning curve for us.
Right.
But thank you for all you're doing.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 6B, Department Reports, Downtown Streetscape Update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Steve is going to come forward, and I think Paige is going to finish up on the backside of the presentation, but they're here to give you an update on the streetscape project in downtown. So Steve, if you would.
Yes, sir. Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. I am pinch hitting for Kaylee, and I was going to tell you why. She took the National Planning Exam this afternoon. It's a 4-hour exam. She passed it. So she is now a licensed and registered architect as well as certified planner. So really, really pleased. So I'll also start off by saying most of us in this room have heard complaints about the number of crews that were working on the utilities. And we've tried diligently to explain there's a process. When you're working on one sewer line, you can't drop back and work on the same line. That sewer line's probably in the way of stormwater. So there was a process. And we said, as soon as we get through, you'll start to see more crews. Now you're seeing more crews. There's a flurry of activity, if you noticed, in the last week and a half, multiple crews out. So it's coming to fruition, what we've been talking about. So the completed work, that's all, nothing's new there. The current work, grading for the new road, the fiber, the electric conduits. We completed this presentation on Tuesday morning, where next up it says curb line. If you go down on Barbarick and half of Union Street, the curb line is strong. So that's just since Tuesday. And then we'll continue on with the mid-block. So this picture is telling. And this is one of the reasons why we remember why we're doing the streetscape. And that is, if you look at the blue line doesn't show up too good on this one, it does on mine, but the blue line from Market Street, runs from Market Street up to Barbrick and Barbrick to Union. So that's the new stormwater line that we put in. The red line, and especially the one you notice coming off Union Street going to Market, that was under a private building. These are pictures that engineering made of the stormwater box culvert that was there. That's wood, rock, and concrete. And it ran under a private building. So that has now been eliminated, and that's one of the reasons that we talked about is improving the infrastructure, not only the surface work, but the infrastructure. So it's so important, and that picture tells the picture, tells the story.
Before you leave that, was that pipe in there or just water came through it?
Water came through it, and a lot of water at that.
And so how long before those buildings would start collapsing?
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it was going to happen.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
But remember, the line that we put in, the line that we put in is a 42-inch line. That's the volume of water that stormwater line handles from half of downtown going down toward the old public work, the Carolina Courts area, going through there. So it's just amazing.
Easement underneath that building?
No, sir. No, no.
That was the building owners.
Yeah, that's building owners. Yeah. No, it is to the left of the bistro. It is, the bistro's to the right on the other side of the alley. That is, yeah. I think that's where Garrett's office is.
Yeah, David Smith owns that building?
I think David may own them.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, yeah, yes, correct,
Okay.
correct.
So, yeah,
Oh, man.
and that's why the blue line wasn't showing up and clicking up.
You know, technology.
Figured that one out. Yeah, that's right. Remember, I'm pinch hitting. So these are some aerials that we made Wednesday morning, showing the work, the amount of grading, getting the road down so we can go up with the base. Really feel like things are happening now. They have been, of course, but now the average person can see it and you start to feel it. No, it's Barbrick Street. Barbrick Street, you can really start to see the way the street, the new alignment of the street, the curb line, how it will work through there. So this the current work zone. This is not changed. So the significant on this slide is, if you look at the bottom right box, anticipate Barbrick Avenue and a portion of Union Street base asphalt by the end of November. If the weather holds, they're very optimistic that this will get in, which means the curb is in, and then the stone base, and then the asphalt. Now you'll really start to get the feel for the streetscape, and this works well because as that fence moves north, you can look south and see it and start to see it coming together. So this is the next zone that will move whenever you get up to Cabarrus. After that, it will be through the winter of '24. Remember, Cabarrus Avenue will stay open. That will take a lot of work to get through there, to get the infrastructure through and keep it open. And then Killarney through spring of '24. And then it'll finish up through the summer of '24. And the last one is through the fall. The majority will be done summer of '24, as far as planting trees and final touch-ups, things that you want to do in the fall for the tree health. That's when it'll fully finish. So parking information, no changes since last month. I will say staff does parking counts in the city's deck and the county's deck every month. And we've been doing this since March. So we can even tell you whenever the courthouse renovations finish or new courthouse finish, because the parking counts in the county's deck drop significantly, because that's where the construction workers were parking. You can also see it next when the Novi project came online, because those workers left downtown. So we monitor that so that we can adjust as necessary in the future. This is something Kaylee presented to you last month about the walk downtown idea. She is putting that into practice. The signs are going up. Most are up. The rest will be up before Thanksgiving. which is really neat. And this is just on the website, the walk downtown, and the different features that you can encounter along your walk, which you know how long it will take to get there. So with that, I'll turn it over to Paige.
Thank you, Steve. And continuing with all of that activity, we continue to provide opportunities for the businesses and property owners to come get information from us. Of course, we disseminate information through emails, which all of you get as well, which I know you love. So we disseminate that information that way, but also our monthly merchant meeting, we have still been offering an alternative virtual meeting on opposite months of in-person. So on Monday, we'll have our virtual meeting, and at these meetings, in addition to providing updates around streetscape and events that are taking place and ways that businesses can get involved, we do also try to provide resources and information to the businesses. One of our downtown businesses, Personalized Design Interiors, Stephanie Dobson, put together a really great tips and toolkit for businesses to decorate their window storefronts. So we've been sending that out to the businesses. That's featured there. And being a part of the Main Street program allows us a lot of resources to get out to the businesses as well. They have a Grow with Google program that's going on right now that offers free workshops. There's some of them are live in person, some are they can watch the recording if they can't make those, and those are just really great tools to utilize Google to make sure that people can find you, people can buy your products, and you're out and your technology is staying up to date. In addition to the walking program and keeping people active and coming into downtown, there's a ton of activity coming up with the holidays. We won't let any construction slow us down as far as celebrating Christmas in downtown Concord. The Parks and Rec Department has been putting together the plans for the annual Christmas tree lighting, which will take place, as you can see in front of you, activities starting at 6 on November 17th, and will continue throughout the evening with our fireworks, which we always love, and it's always a treat in downtown Concord. Continuing the next day with the 95th Concord Christmas Parade. We're excited to continue that. Again, not allowing construction to slow us down. We have some alternate plans. As you can see, it will continue directly down Church Street as opposed to turning onto Union Street. We hope to be back on Union Street, but that is just the plan for this year so that we can continue with this wonderful tradition and still operate business as usual. There's a variety of reasons why we need to continue on Church Street, but just know that the Parks and Rec team and the team that plans this put together every effort to make sure that we look at all of the options, and this is the option that we need to do this year. So we're just excited to get everyone together for that. Additionally, this coming season, we are working with several merchants in downtown along with other partners throughout Concord and throughout downtown to put together a really vibrant small business Saturday. It was hard to get out. Shop the Holiday Trail. We're going to have a trolley that's going to be in downtown Concord that will take us, not only allow us to shop downtown, we've got tons of zones and things set up. We've got market vendors, pop-up vendors coming out on the north block, the south block. We've got all the downtown businesses are purchasing balloon trees to put out at their door to make sure they're extra festive. Santa will be at 11 Union Street. We'll have letters to Santa at the Cabarrus Arts Council. So it's a lot of fun to do right here in downtown, but also capitalizing and kind of playing off of what other parts of Concord have to offer. Cabarrus Brewing Company has a phenomenal holiday market every year. Southern Strain does a great job with being another piece of that corridor along downtown Concord. So offering the trolley to get people to all three of those places. They can utilize our free parking in downtown Concord and come and shop and do all of the things. So we're really excited for this year and hope to continue with this in years going forward. Questions?
Real quick, I thought of something else. Several of you have asked about lighting in the next phase. Alex he's planning to set a wooden pole on the north side of Hawthorne's before you get to the library that will have a double flood. There's a dark area there. The flood will go back to the intersection of Cabarrus and then go north. So I know several of you have asked that, and the utilities are being marked so that they can set that pole.
All right. We really appreciate all the work you're doing. And as it stands right now, the parade route is Church Street for this year, and then we'll be trying to get back to Union Street if the construction is done next year.
Yes, sir. And remember, we worked with the county in the plaza, Means Plaza, or whatever, I can't remember what the county calls it. Courthouse Plaza. So right at the corner is set up for the Christmas tree to go there. So in future years, it'll be a great location, very visible. It'll really look nice. And of course, you got the streetscape with the festoon lights going across the tree. Next year will be something.
Yes, it will be. And I've been talking with our sister city of Killarney and Freeport, and they're interested in coming next year to be a part of our parade. To share their Christmas with us, so. Thank you very much. Any question from council?
I have one, Mayor.
Yes, go ahead.
First of all, Paige, I really like the fact that you've incorporated some business support through Google for our businesses. I think that's a really nice touch for us to be able to kind of help for them to market themselves in the internet. But one thing too, Steve, you know, in our collaboration with the county, I've heard a few folks mention that the signage for the county parking on Church Street that goes down to McEachern, you know, that big lot that goes down the hill. I think some people may be confused sometimes when it says county parking only. It makes people think that it's not public parking.
Right.
So it might be, you know, I've had a couple people recently, and I don't know why it's just come up recently, to suggest that maybe we put more clear instructions or work with the county on that for them to know that that too is public parking.
Right.
Because that sign seems kind of misleading, you know?
I know what you're talking about.
So,
Sure.
anyway.
Okay. Any more questions? Thank you very much. We're moving to item C, which is recognition of persons requesting to be heard. Oh, I'm sorry, Parks and Recs update. Sorry, that's not there yet.
Yep.
Come on, Sheila.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Jessica, our Finance Director, and Sheila, our Parks and Recreation Director, will provide council an update on our Parks and Recreation bond. So Jessica, I think you're going first? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. My update is very quick today. This is just, again, a summary of the numbers with where we are right now with the project estimates. They have not changed from last month. So at this point, the numbers are still the same. As we get bids in and kind of confirmed estimates for anything else, we will update these. But you have a new sheet in front of you as well that reflects these same numbers. So I'm happy to answer any questions about the numbers, but otherwise I'm going to turn it over to Sheila.
Council have any questions?
Just thank you for putting that sheet together. Appreciate it.
Yes, it's very, very important to us.
Too.
Welcome, Sheila.
Thank you. Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, Ms. Deason. Tonight, I'll provide an overview update for all the bond projects that we have. First is Dorton Park. The proposed planning plan is intended to revegetate the stream banks and buffer area and create a greater density than what was there before. This will be accomplished in Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the project. Approximately 110 mature trees with a diameter greater than 12 inches were removed as a part of the stream restoration project. Some of those were dead, some were dying, some were active, but as you can see in the picture to the left, they were growing into the bank and into the water and eventually would have died. We will replace that with a ratio of 10-to-1 for all the mature trees that were returned. There's also going to be over 1,000 additional trees, shrubs, riparian ground cover that will be planted on the toe of the stream bank. Additionally, tree plantings will be during the winter months after the Army Corps of Engineers has completed their certification and looked at their work, and the stream restoration work has been completed. We will work with the city arborist on the planting plan for Phase 2 of the project because we need to identify areas that can continue to be a part of the memorial tree program that we have in that park. This park currently has 5 trees as a part of that program. The next to the top right is this will actually be the tributary to the Afton Run Creek. This is what a stream restoration looks like. The plantings aren't there yet, but you will see the grass mats The purpose of the stream restoration is to lay the bank back in order for a higher volume of water to get through there. The park is in the floodplain, floodway, so it will always flood. But our hope in the stream restoration is to reduce the volume of water that comes out of the banks, so it will not reach as far as it did before, but by laying the banks back, the water will recede faster on a major rain event. On the project, the contractor continues with work. Right now, the extended parking lot is being staked to identify for the parking lot. True construction on the areas will come after the stream restoration has been completed. Caldwell Park, as mentioned on Tuesday, we did complete the 2 public update meetings. We continue in the permitting process, but I do want to talk about a stakeholder meeting that we'll be having. We do have a totally inclusive playground at this location as a part of one of the grants we received. So having a totally inclusive playground, our goal is to bring in stakeholders that are a part of the inclusive piece of that. We'll also include our DEI person, and our goal is to identify features that need to be added to the playground to make it inclusive for the citizens. Here is the comparison map that was discussed last month. Again, there were 4 items that were different from the master plan to the final design. Jim Ramsor Park. Last night was our public update meeting that we held at Fire Station 9. We only had 5 attendees to this meeting. The meeting was, most of those were from Jim Ramsor's family and 1 friend. But they were very excited about the park and can't wait till it gets started. They were very, very excited. We continue with the traffic design. We continue with the temporary erosion and sediment control. And good news, we received the signed sewer from Highland Creek, so that piece will be checked off. Next is the Hartselle Complex. We will come to council and request sewer for this project for the restrooms located in the field in front of the recreation center. We continue design. We will also continue, the next step is looking at architectural and permitting for this project. Next, the skate park, pump track area, and the sculpture garden, the properties that are adjacent to Clearwater Art Studio. On December 7th, we plan on having a update and community information on at Clearwater. At this time, we have already completed 4 public input meetings as a part of this. Is a brand new amenity that we're bringing to the city of Concord. It's our first pump track, our first skate park, and our first sculpture garden. So we had community input meetings to get us started on this process. So their information and what was provided, we'll be providing back to the community on December 7th and show them the conceptual plans that they helped us draft. And we will also need sewer application. We will also seek a sewer application for this project. Next, the Academy Gibson Fields. We continue to work on cost estimates. Our goal is to have Webb Field, which is a diamond and a rectangle field, to be turfed. This project also includes McAllister Field next door, or right next to the Webb Field, and it also includes Gibson Field that is right located off of Ballpark and Meisenheimer. Academy Gibson, this is the pool. In the top right, you will see the area that we are planning for the zero entry. The picture to the left shows the feature that we will be placing at the pool. This pool, we are still trying to get through permitting. to bring back to council to approve so we can move to bidding. But if, the main goal for this is we are one of the only public pools in the city of Concord. And our timing of when this takes place, if we are not able to bring it to you and have the project completed before pool season opens, we will push it to do this project when the pool season closes. So it will be pushed to the fall to bring to you. The last thing I want to do is close the pool when it's the only pool and close it during the season. Next is Dave Phillips Activity Center. We can continue with the schematic design. The traffic impact for Burge Road has been submitted and under review. Again, just a reminder, this focus of this park is for environmental education. Next is the Poplar Tent Trailhead Park. In the top right, you can see this is the new area that includes the wetland delineated area. So the open space is a little bit smaller. We've met with the cricket community on this park, and the cages, we're working with them on what they want to see for the cricket cages. Right now, we'll be able to fit 3 on this park, and it'll have parking lot, restroom, and a playground. The additional parks that we have not began design on is Wilson Street, the Academy Recreation Center, and WW Flow. And I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Any question from council?
We want to thank Sheila and her staff for the updated spreadsheet. Extremely clear, very helpful. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
And we also appreciate you continuing having these public meetings that we can review where we stand on everything. Yeah, we just have to figure out how to do that. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. We're moving on now to recognitions of persons requesting to be heard. First of all, anyone can request 3 minutes to come up. This our time to recognize persons to be heard on the agenda. Opportunity to hear from anyone wishing to speak. This is a time of listening for counsel. The subject will be noted and required action or request. The city manager will note such and provide steps for any required response or after action. Please, I have your contact information, but make sure that you leave your contact information if there's anything else you need to have us to communicate with. Leave it with the city clerk. She will take care of that. I have 5 people signed up. Is there anyone else that would like to sign up tonight who hasn't signed up yet? Okay, I'll start at the top. Barbie Jones, please come forward. Welcome.
Well, as a Concord citizen, I am so proud of the work that this staff is doing. It's amazing to sit here and hear all this. We read about it, we see it, but man, to see the dedication of this staff is pretty amazing. So good evening, Mayor Dush, City Council members, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, and Ms. Deason. I'm Barbie Jones, and I'm the Executive Director of the Chamber Leading Business in Cabarrus, and I'm a member of the county's Early Childhood Task Force Advisory Board. I want to thank each of you for the hard work you do every day to keep Concord the excellent place it is to live, work, and play. And I doubt most understand the countless hours each of you puts in to make the decisions you do. I also want to acknowledge and thank you for the exceptional job you have done bringing economic development projects to Concord, resulting in more jobs at greater salaries. We have already seen the unbelievable impacts that Eli Lilly is making, and we know there's many more to come. Next month, you will be allocating limited sewer permits, with the success of many projects dependent on your decisions. I have no doubt that each will have its merits. However, I would like to ask you to give special priority to new or expanding child care centers. With the influx of jobs, our child care centers have been extremely stressed. With a growing number of jobs, we need to make sure child care is available for working families. Currently, most early learning centers are at capacity and with very long wait lists. Over 70% of children birth to 5 years old in Cabarrus County are not enrolled in early learning. Without care options, families must make difficult decisions about employment, often resulting in a parent staying home when they would prefer and financially need to work. With the limited capacity we have, families are having to drive to Charlotte, Salisbury, or further for childcare options. By expanding childcare options, families can work, employers can fill vital job openings, and children are kindergarten ready and poised for success in learning. According to our members, workforce continues to be their most pressing need. We need everyone who can work to be available to do so. I ask that you please help our current and future businesses by recognizing that enough childcare spaces is an economic development decision, and prioritize those projects next month, and please approve their sewer permits. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Barbie. Robert Neal?
I'm in peace this time.
Welcome, Robert.
I'd like to just follow up on Ms. Sheila. She's done a great job. She's been into it. I've been working with her, talking with her about Caldwell Park, and also to Miss Betty, and also the councilman for the bonds and stuff. We put it all together. I think this is gonna be a great thing, and I told all the people in the community that this is gonna be a good thing for the community. Now, part two is I want to acknowledge that November 11th is Veterans Day. And can I have all the veterans stand up? Would it be a problem?
Please, I think
Can
that'd
all
be
the veterans
nice.
stand up?
That'd be nice.
And on Saturday, we're gonna have a Veterans Day parade / eating down at Logan Recreation Center. We're gonna have Bojangles chicken and a lot of things to give away down there. We'd like for y'all to come in after y'all run. We can give y'all something to drink. Also, I just like to give thanks to Congo 101. I mean, it really is a very interesting group to be in. I'm glad I'm one of the alumni of it. And Martin Luther King said that if you see a good fight, get in it. So I'm in this fight to win with all of y'all. I know I'm rocking y'all shoes sometime, but hey, it's all together good. And also, this is the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam vets. And we're gonna be doing something for them too. We're gonna be in the Christmas parade. We're gonna be the Veterans of War. And I just like to thank God for y'all getting together and making a lot of good decisions for the people in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Anissa Manny, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've asked that Dorton Park's projects be added to the City Council meeting agenda so that modifications to the park could be properly presented and discussed. I've been told that my concerns will be passed along to City Council and that I'm welcome to present at the person's wishing to be heard portion of the agenda. I appreciate this opportunity to be able to speak on this issue. However, this does not provide the ability to have discussion that will lead to questions being answered. The second planned bathroom was only removed due to the deed restrictions. The deed had to be sent by an attorney, even though the deed to the donated land should have been reviewed prior to plan changes. There were still three city council members who voted to keep the added bathroom, even though the deed restricts the planned location. The information sessions held at Dorton Park in September were not informative. There wasn't a presentation to properly provide detail of the plan changes. The information was fragmented. People were provided different answers to the same questions. My questions of the project scope, project intent, and project details went unanswered. The city has yet to properly communicate the entire public activities, to the entire public the activities taking place. There were no communications to the public that took place from 2020 until September 9th, 2023, even though there were modifications to the plans that took place in January. The public was provided only 5 days' notice of the park closing, that is Dorton Park closing. Even though there were concerns over the park modifications from Afton Village residents and non-Afton Village residents, the project moved forward. Our concerns of safety, potential sewage issues, loss in property values, and unnecessary expense went unaddressed. Even though city council members at the September 21st information session at the park were unaware of some of the planned removal of trees, the project moved forward. The lack of communication leads to a lack of trust. This lack of trust also stems from misinformation concerning modifications being based on surveys, lack of information on the concordbonds.com website detailing plans and timing, and the confirmed plan changes to provide formal rec space to the community would have been better suited in a newly developed park in order to provide the greater community the proper facilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. Scott Brewer? Good evening.
Evening. Thank you for your time. I'm just here to say, I don't think any of y'all are complicit or it's y'all's fault of what's going on South Union, which I know you just mostly heard about recently, even though I did see a letter today that, signed by Greg Neal, giving a zoning verification letter on May the 16th, and I don't know where that gets lost in the shuffle, but it has been going around for a little while. I love y'all. Don't think it's your fault that it's happened. And I certainly have a sympathy for young people. I was a guidance counselor, a dropout prevention counselor at Concord High, instrumental in helping start Performance Learning Center. I've worked at Camp Spencer. I mean, I've been around kids my whole life, so I have a heart for kids. But what's going on South Union Street, you need to understand. It's not a group home, and if anybody tells you it's a group home, you need to correct them. It's a level 3 crisis stabilization facility. Okay, the one and only here in Cabarrus County. Kids, young people that are there or have opposition defiance disorder. That means they are a danger to people. They are subject to property damage, damage to animals, violence towards animals. They refuse to obey rules. Will all of them be that way? No, but it's a level 3, so they can. They have conduct disorders, from combative tendencies to run away. They just told us at the open house, it was very hot and heated a little while ago with over 50 people in the house, that, oh, well, when they run away, we will go after them. And we hope to have 2 people on duty at all times, one to supervise. And if somebody runs, well, I hope 2 of them don't run and go the opposite way. They said they would track them down, that our police force wouldn't have to be the ones. They didn't want to have to call Pat Tierney, who was there today as well. Thank him. You know, these kids are from Mecklenburg County. They're not Cabarrus County kids. They're from Mecklenburg County DSS. Are they going to support our police department? That lady said today that she was hoping to meet with Patrick Tierney once a month. Well, he could be meeting with Cabarrus County DSS. Maybe Mecklenburg County needs to be supporting us. They have been put on a postage stamp lot, a 0.15 acre lot. These kids have no room. They have no space. Their rooms are 12 by 12 bedrooms. They're putting 2 in. It's co-ed. It's a problem, and I understand. I got a text today. I won't throw anybody under the bus, but I'll read it. It says, blah, blah, blah. The city is looking at it, but by state law, they can be there, and that may be true. But is there a loophole? We don't think the neighbors will be in any danger. There are 7 children. This property's touched this property. A 4-year-old little girl, a 6-year-old little girl, and a 12-year-old little boy right there. And the guy feels like he can't sell his house because he's lost his equity in his home. He hasn't been there that long. A brewer has lived at 536 Union Street South since 1953. For 70 years, my family has lived on there. Somebody here has told me, well, you just need to move. Bull, I don't need to move. My family has lived there for 70 years. No, your dad, friends with him. Anyway, I can go on. Again, I don't think it's your fault. I just want to see us, I know Mr. King came to the
Okay, okay.
thing, and he brought Representative Crutchfield, and so some of you have made some efforts, but I would just like to see a little more effort to try to find the loophole to see if there's something that can be done. Because something bad will happen, I'm afraid, and blood will be on somebody's hand who just sits there and thinks, because it's not beside you, that
Okay,
it'll go
okay,
away.
but before you step down, we are in contact with Representative Crutchfield. This is a state issue. We have to be strong and keep going against the state for this item.
I understand that.
And,
That's
and
all
we
I'm
completely
asking. I just
agree with
want
what
you
you're
to
saying.
do that, 'cause
We completely agree.
We as people up and down the neighborhood,
But-
other than, hadn't really seen that.
But there are two statutes there that we have to get changed if we're going to do it. Otherwise, something bad is going to happen, and we're going to have to figure it out after the fact.
You know, they tried to backtrack today and say sexual offenders wouldn't be there.
What?
Level
No.
3, they can.
Okay,
They've
okay,
got the
but
school right
Scott,
there.
we understand.
Yep.
We understand.
We appreciate it, and, you know, get Mecklenburg County to give us some money.
Take it, take it. Okay. Deanne Hobbs.
I think Scott was my warm-up. Sorry. Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Golzinski, Ms. Deason, I do have a few pieces of collateral just
Sure.
to share with you all. And I apologize first of all because I'm out of paper and ink with everything that has been going on. So I am going to ask you all, and I'm out of staples also. But this one, we might have to share on this second one.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
But just to give you all just a little bit of information that might be beneficial. This is about the facility there on South Union. Just what's coming around is the state statute on group homes. And I know most of you are familiar with this at this point and have heard something about that. So I just wanted to share it with you. So yes, it is perfectly acceptable to have a group home with 6 or less in a single family dwelling. That is not an issue. When I first heard about the group home, and first of all, I am a nurse, I'm a mental health advocate. I was even a foster parent this past year, so I have nothing against this. When I first heard that, I thought some of my neighbors were just a little upset, and I was like, just settle down, this is fine. I was looking forward to having these folks over on my porch so I could love on them. That was my first instinct. I was very excited about this opportunity and having a neighbor in the house right next door to me. I thought this was a wonderful thing. And then I started doing some research when I saw the flyer, researched the company as well, and there are other locations where they are doing this program, and got even more concerned and looked into their business model and the parent company, first of all. So that is something I would also encourage you to do even further. But with the state statute, it does, when you look at that on that page that I shared with you, number 2, or I have it in bold, the state does allow a clause that it says no one in any group home, it says, but not including persons with a mental illness who are dangerous to others. And it gives a definition, and I have that on there for you. The state's definition of dangerous, it says, I've just got a few highlights there. Within the relevant past, the individual has inflicted or attempted to inflict or threatened to inflict serious bodily harm on another, or has acted in such a way as to create a substantial risk of serious bodily harm to another, or is engaged in extreme destruction of property. I'm going to skip a little further towards the end for the sake of time. When determining the reasonable probability of future damage, et cetera, it goes on. Well, these children or teenagers, 10 to 17-year-olds, are in the custody of DSS. They have been removed from their homes. And the COO told me they're looking for state placement. But also, they can, and what you have there is the fact that they can have sexual offenders in that facility because it's level 3. So that actually meets the state statute determination for dangerous, I would think.
Okay, and also, I'm encourage you to contact the representative,
He has this information.
Kevin Crutchfield, because again, this is written so nebulous to us as to how we can enforce this. it needs clarification, and he is supposedly working on that for us. And,
And my concern is the location of it,
oh,
because it is 1 block from an elementary school.
Yeah.
And if level 3,
thank you.
according to Medicaid, allows for
Yes.
sexual offenders, they cannot be 1 block
Okay.
from an elementary school.
Thank you very much. That is all I have signed up to present. Is there anyone who'd like to speak tonight? All right, thank you all for being here for that. We'll move on. Public hearings, conduct a public hearing pursuant of General Statute 158.7.1. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Second.
A motion is second, all in favor? Raise your hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sam did present this item to council. This is a request to council for a 3-year 85% tax-based infrastructure development grant. And so it would be up to council to make that decision tonight. Sam is here if you have any questions of her.
All right, any questions? I have no one signed up to speak. Is anyone like to speak in favor or about this item? There is, no, you're leaving. Okay. There is no one here to speak. Therefore, motion to close public hearing.
So moved, Mayor.
All in favor, say, or raise your hand, please. Thank you. Back to council for a recommendation.
Mayor, I move we approve the grant.
I'll second that.
Motion is second. Ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 2, consider adopting an ordinance annexing 3.17 acres. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor, raise your hand. All right. I have no one here signed up. Is there anyone like to speak on about this item? There is no one present who wants to speak about the item. I'm going to motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Got a motion second. All in favor, raise your hand. Back to council for a recommendation.
Mayor, I'll make the recommendation that we move to adopt the annexation ordinance and set the effective date for today, November the 9th, 2023.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion. And we have a second. Ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, moving on. That's all the public hearings we have. Moving to E, presentations of petitions and requests. Lloyd, this is number 1, consider an update of fiscal year 24 compensation plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As council heard on Tuesday evening, the consultant, along with Chantel, gave a very detailed presentation on the compensation study. And I think at that time, council had asked for additional information, which I'm putting together. I should have that information to you within the next couple of days, as compiled by myself and staff. It's my understanding council does want to move this item, and of course that would take action tonight by council to the November 21st work session of council. So happy to answer any questions of council or action back to council to move or table this item.
All right.
Yep, Mayor, Mr. Payne, I am sure the information you prepared for us will answer all of our questions, but I do think that we should digest that, and I'd like to table this and move this to the November 21st work session. So I'll make that motion.
And we have a motion.
I'll second that.
We have, I think Andy had already seconded. Is there any further discussion before we do that? All right, ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Move to our second work session.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
question, the material that Lloyd is going to offer to us, is that a public document? How widely will that information be shared?
Yeah, it will come to council, and then any kind of questions that you may have, I'm happy to answer. If I can't answer them, I'll get with the consultant and provide that information back to you.
But it will not be shared with others other than council?
No, not at this time.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Okay. Thank you. All right, item number 2, consider approving city loan assumption of Smith Sports LLC.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Steve presented this item to council on Tuesday evening. This is something that staff highly recommends us to move forward to allow Smith Sports to assume the loan and the debt service that it currently exists with Carolina courts if and when the property does transact.
All right. Back to council. Is there a motion? Thank you. Motion is second. Ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Item 3, consider abandoning easements across property at Red Hill subdivision.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sue discussed this item with council on Tuesday evening as well. This is a total of 2 easements that we're recommending to abandon, and so they are no longer needed as indicated in the agenda narrative, so we'd ask for council to move forward with this tonight.
Thank you. Is there a recommendation from council? We got a motion and a second. Thank you very much. All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Item number 4, consider preliminary application of John David Mills.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sue presented this item as well. The property is located at 4210 Mills Circle. This is for water service only at this address. Staff is recommending council to move forward with this item, excluding annexation.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion from council? A motion and a second. Ready to vote. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, consent agenda. I'd ask at our work session whether anybody had anything to pull off of it to put into the regular items. Is there any change in that?
Yes, Mayor, just a comment. As we look at that, there's numerous grants. I just want to commend the department heads and staff and Lloyd for his team finding those grants and saving the citizens and ourselves money. That's money we don't have to spend. Even when we match, it's a good deal.
Okay, thank you very much. So is there a motion to approve the consent agenda, John? There is. Okay.
Second.
In a second. Ready to vote? All in favor, raise your hand. Thank you very much. Items not on the agenda, starting off with the Transportation Advisory Committee, TAC. Is there anything there?
We met on the 25th. Interesting enough, the new STIP that was effective October 1, we endorsed 28 amendments to that STIP on the 25th of October. That's about the only business that was really done. One good note of information, the new Chief Operating Officer for DOT was there and addressed us. And believe it or not, we have a pavement striping machine on the way for Division 10. That's the good news. Bad news is there's no delivery date for that machine.
Or there's no paint for it once it gets
They've
here.
purchased several of them, and one will be stationed here in Division 10, so hopefully we'll get some relief. And a little information, there was an article in the Observer today, I think on the 3rd page, that Highway 73 had been approved as a $600 million super project all the way to 29 in Concord.
Whoa.
That's not true. That's not true. It's stopping at Poplar Tent halfway, so it'll be from Huntersville to Poplar Tent, and our side is not funded. So maybe the Observer will retract that tomorrow.
It's correct online. It's not correct
Yeah,
in the Observer.
yeah. So I was excited for just about 10 minutes, so that's it for.
Okay. Metropolitan Transit. LJ, you got anything?
The Metropolitan Transit Commission meeting held their first time in recent memory strategic planning session, which I attended on your behalf. A lot of it was a review of CAT structure and projects, but part of it was talking about regional development of transit and partnerships. And CAT's highlighted their partnership with Ryder Transit, particularly on the CCX and looking at things like fare payment and AVL technology that we may be able to share in the future.
Is there anything there that would apply to what we're doing?
Not in the moment, but probably in the next 1 to 3 years potentially.
Okay. Thank you. Central Liner Regional Council? No meeting. CK Transit, Concord Kannapolis Transit Commission. We had our meeting last week, and one of the things that comes up is, just like with us, compensation. And we're having some discussions on that. This is a very unique situation where our drivers are in a union, but we have to sort of manage this in a very strange way. So that's another time we're going to have to deal with it as a council coming up, along with our friends up in Kannapolis. Anything else, LJ, to add there? Do what? You mean that noise?
I heard it though, you didn't imagine that.
Yeah. If you hear it again, let me know. Well, what's that?
update to share. We do have a wonderful opportunity next week. Senator Newton and DEQ Secretary Beiser will be in town. They will be given a short presentation like you guys received, and then also take a plant tour at Rocky River. I think it'll be a wonderful opportunity to show them what we're doing, what our needs continue to be, and how important it is to Concord and Cabarrus County. So I believe we will both be in attendance there. So rest assured, we will plant the seed that we will continue to need support well into the future. So
When is that?
I believe it's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Could follow up if you'd like to know exactly.
Please, please send me that.
Will do.
Yeah. All right, We Build Concord. Welcome, Dr. Graham.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council, and Lawyer Dais. I want to just give you a couple of quick updates. First of all, I want to thank you all for your support in our inaugural breakfast and annual meeting. I was told by many that they not only enjoyed it, but it was one of the more diverse groups that they have seen attend events around here. So I want to thank you for that. Another update related to 266 Malvern Drive, which you know is the old nursing home that we purchased this last month. We closed on it, and there's an RFP that will be issued starting Monday for engineering and architecture. So we're trying to move quickly with that project. There are going to be 8 single homes that include some townhomes that will be complete by January. We already have 2 of those complete, and one of those actually now is going to be purchased by a child care preschool teacher. And so her and her daughter will now have a place to live that's affordable. And between us and some partners, she'll have about $85,000 of down payment assistance to assist with that effort, given the large interest rates that we see right now. So down payment assistance, you know, becomes more and more important. Just as sort of an FYI, we are going to be launching our community-wide strategic plan, and that will include residents, employers, partners, as well as City of Concord members for that strategic plan. That RFP will be released within this month, and we believe we'll be starting that strategic plan beginning in March. It will go through the summer and then be complete by hopefully early fall to determine our direction and other projects outside the ones that we have. I think it's going to just be very important, too, that we get your feedback, too, as a council. Actually, Laura didn't let you know, but our meeting has been rescheduled. That tour actually is more of a prelude to that strategic plan. Other than that, the only other thing I want to state here for the record, which I did state at our inaugural breakfast and annual meeting, is that we had our first single audit, and it was a clean audit. So again, thank you all for your support, and we just want to make sure that we are good stewards of your dollars. So thank you.
And
Any
thank you.
questions?
Patrick, what did you raise at that breakfast? By the way, I agree, that was a great program and the speakers were wonderful. A lot of times those are snoozers, but that was a good one.
Well, it was because it lasted, literally, the program 40 minutes, so you were in and out of there so fast. But I think we're close to 16,000. So it's a first shot, first time out. So I think that we'll be doing more of that in the future and get larger as we go forward.
Thank you very much. Any more questions?
Again, we've been asked to bring that program to Central United Methodist Church December 5th, first Sunday.
It's the first Sunday. I'm not sure if the 5th is the first Sunday, but it's the
First Sunday in December at 9:30. If anybody wants to attend that missed it, we're going to play different roles, but it's going to be basically the same.
Yeah, Jessica Castrodale did a
Third.
great job. You got the same speakers coming?
No, just me and Patrick.
Oh,
We're
well,
gonna figure out
that's
some way to pull it off.
not coming now.
Yeah,
Just
okay,
kidding.
well.
This is a junior.
Took all the good stuff out.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Junior. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Graham. Public Art Commission, excuse me, We Build Concord? Sorry. I'm sorry. Public Art Commission, I'm getting there. It's just, it takes me a while. Hello, Sarah, how are you?
Hi, good evening, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Payne, Ms. Kolchinsky, and Ms. Deason. I am really not here to give you the update. I am here to introduce who will give you the update. And so allow me to get my reading glasses on. Here this evening to give you a quick update on the work of the Concord Public Art Commission pursuant to the new Public Art Master Plan, which you did approve in February, earlier this year, is Commission Chair Doyle Bussey. Some of you may know him. He is a 25-plus year resident of Concord in the Historic District, and he is an artist, a project manager, and an engineer. He's also been involved in Full-Time Funky Town, which you are familiar with, for some of the privately based temporary sculptures that have been up in this last year. He makes large-scale sculptures himself, and he is excited about the current growth of Concord and the opportunities for public art. So I also want to let you know that at its meeting in September, the commission also elected its vice chair, who is not here this evening, but Danielle Danny Player is our vice chair, and she and Doyle and really the entire commission have already been working very well together. So without further ado, I will give Doyle the floor.
Thank you. And welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Just a really quick update. We had our first meeting for the whole commission in August, and we've had monthly meetings since then. Some of the topics we've talked about are we've reviewed and talked about the Public Art Master Plan, familiarizing ourselves with that and how we can implement that. We've started a couple subcommittees to look further into specific projects that we would like to pursue further. We've kind of done a pretty thorough introduction to the park master plans, all of those, and trying to see where maybe public art could be integrated into those park plans. And as far as projects, we've had a bunch of projects. I won't really go into all the ones we've talked about, but there's been some large ones, some small ones, permanent ones, temporary ones, and we're kind of feeling our way a little bit since we're just starting on trying to refine our scope, maybe, is the best word to put it. There's so much art that's possible. In our upcoming meetings, we're going to be working quite a bit on an annual work plan that's going to be a draft, I think, is due to you guys in January. So that's kind of our top priority right now for the upcoming 24-25 fiscal year. We're going to continue to explore possibilities of art locations throughout the city, thinking of spots that would be high visibility, areas of the city that maybe don't have as much art as other parts of the city, what kind of art those places could be, that sort of thing. We're just starting to also develop a process on how to evaluate what kind of art we want in town, I guess is the best way to put it. And that's very early stages. And one of my little things I haven't even told everybody else yet, but I'm gonna try and ram through, is to develop a database of all the public art that we have now. We need to have a baseline of where we're at, where this art is, and where we can have the most impact. And that's where we're at. Any questions from anybody?
Any question from council? Go ahead.
So the Public Art Commission is truly in its infancy. We're watching them take their first baby steps. But as every parent knows, that first step is a huge one, and everybody celebrates it. So thank you for assuming the leadership of this, for Sarah, for your work. We look forward to some good reports from you, but you're off and running, or you're taking a few first steps. You have not started running yet, but thank you for doing that.
We're trying to get ready to take the training wheels off sooner or later. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. And I think it's going to be amazing as the database gets created, what we find.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
I would have no idea whether it's 100 items or 1,000 or 10,000 items. No idea, and I don't think anybody else knows. But
Right.
you're going to tell us, aren't you?
I hope so.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Concord United Committee, Jamay, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Hello, Mayor, members of council, Ms. Kolchinsky, Mr. Payne, and Ms. Decent. The committee just wanted me to share how they're closing out this calendar year. They will have a final meeting in November to discuss their year 3 priorities. In order for the group to be both well-intentioned and have real impact, they are wondering if council can find time in their schedules to give them a year 2 update sometime in February. Those are their requests and updates.
Yes, we will do that. We will let Kim work on that with us to find the date that we can all do it together.
All right, love it. Thank you.
Thanks for all you're doing. All right, council have anything else they'd like to discuss tonight? Before we go into closed session? All right, I need a motion to move that we go into closed session pursuant of NC General Statute 143.3, 3 and 4 in order to consult with attorney and give instruction concerning the judicial action titled Long versus City of Concord and discuss the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by this public body. Is there a motion? So moved. Second? Second. All in favor, raise your hand. We'll be heading into closed session. So thanks, everybody, for being here, and have a great weekend.